Genesis 24:67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So, what most of these Christians out here would say is that what Isaac and Rebekah did was shacking up. But in the Bible, in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, if you go into a woman, if a man and a woman have sex, they're married. You don't need a marriage license. So this nonsense about having a marriage license and this bullshit. Genesis clearly states that Isaac brought her into his mother's tent and took Rebekah. When they say he took Rebekah, I mean they had sex, because after he took Rebekah, she became his wife. In order to consummate a marriage, you have to have sex. The marriage certificate don't mean jack unless you have sex. So that's what happened, and I'm going to show you more scriptures to further substantiate what I'm trying to share with you. Get you out of darkness. Because Christianity did a number on our people. Christianity has did a number on the world. People are deceived by Christianity. Alright, I want to read a little of this article right here that I found on WordPress about how the marriage license came about. I'm going to start here and say, in order to fully explain what I mean, let's start with marriage before marriage license. Yes, there is such a thing. Let's go way back to the 1600s, where most of our laws concerning marriage were inherited from England. The ugliest of these laws was called anti-miscegenation laws, or laws that prevented interracial marriages. These laws persisted for over 300 years. They were prevalent in almost every state in the Union. Miscegenation laws were upheld numerous times even after the 14th Amendment was passed. In the famous Supreme Court case of 1896, Plessy v. Ferguson, the concept of separate but equal became the law of the land. This allowed the states that still clung to anti-miscegenation laws to renew their favor against interracial marriage. The argument went something like, everyone is free to marry, just marry in your own race, which sounds eerily similar to gay people can get married, just marry someone of the opposite sex. Up upon this point in American history, around the 1920s, there was no such thing as a marriage license. The states invented them as a way to dictate who could and could not get married for the purpose of making sure blacks, whites, Asians, and Indians didn't mix. There you go. That's right. Marriage licenses were invented as a way to stop white people from marrying black people. Because they couldn't get a license, interracial couples who would have been considered married before the marriage license was available ceased to be married. They lost inheritance rights, medical rights, and all other benefits of common law marriage. The issuers of marriage licenses were considered the gatekeepers, charged with keeping the white race pure. There you go, man. That's what it's about. It ain't about getting a marriage license. You're doing it right. This is right. It's about keeping the white race pure. That's what marriage, because the state wanted to dictate who could get married and who cannot get married, and that's where the marriage license came into effect. That they wanted to keep the white race pure. That's what it was all about. Genesis 38, and I'll start at verse 2. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went unto her, meaning he had sex with her. He went unto her, and she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, go into thy brother's wife, meaning have sex with your brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. So when you go unto someone, meaning when you have sex with a woman, you indefinitely are marrying her. That is your wife. My closing statement is, man, know of a surety that the person you laying down with, you want to spend the rest of your life with. You know what I'm saying? Because women out here jumping from ride to ride. You know what I'm saying? Men out here putting the ride in other men's woman, which, I mean, we on both sides, we on both sides we have no understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of wickedness going on out here, man, and we gotta wake up and come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Heavenly Father has given us. That's the only way out of this. He said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. So we've been rejected. We have to come back to keeping these laws, these statutes, and these commandments, and be brought back into the good graces of the Heavenly Father. With that, I'm just say, call hello Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Wakakadash, and Shalom to the hopeful elect out there.